Good morning and welcome everybody. You are on the session for Managing GDPR Compliance on Azure. And there are two of us here today. My name is David Burt and I work in Azure Marketing. I focus exclusively on marketing Azure Compliance and Azure Privacy. And I've spent most of probably about the last 18 months very heavily focused on GDPR, particularly on Azure. So we've done a lot to work with our customers to let them know what they're doing and how to make this easier for them. And I'm joined by somebody who is in the back end actually building all this stuff, which is Ash.
So hi, good morning. I hope you guys are having a wonderful conference up until now. My name is Ashutosh Chikedur. I'm a PM manager in Azure Engineering. I own GDPR. I build the tools in the back end, which actually facilitates all of the GDPR readiness for Azure.
Okay. So today, I'm going to quickly go over, I'm going to talk about, in general, what is Azure's approach to privacy and compliance and how we go about doing that, because it's a pretty big topic. And then a little bit about the GDPR itself and the requirements and how they relate to Azure. And then what you can do to get GDPR compliance and how we can help you do that. Then I'm going to turn things over to Ash, and he's going to talk about how Azure actually got to GDPR compliance and share some best practices with you about that, and then how to leverage some of those. Then we're going to have a brief demo of our data subject request portal that's in the Azure portal that shows you how you can actually meet data subject requests. And then we're going to show you some resources and answer questions. So I have at the back when you go out, I'm going to show some links throughout, and then at the very end of the presentation, I'm going to end on the slide that has a list of resources. I'll leave it up there so you can take a picture, or you can take one of these handouts. In the back, on the seat by the fountain, there wasn't any table there. There's a handout that has some more information about Azure GDPR and some lists of links to it. So the Azure approach to privacy and compliance. This, like I said, this is a big topic. We have developed this approach having to manage those. First of all, Microsoft is the most comprehensive set of compliance offerings of any cloud service provider. And on the next slide, I'll show you what that looks like. But it's a very broad set of requirements, and it gets broader all the time. We're continually adding new ones. What we really work to do is to simplify this for our users. What our customers are telling us is they have all these requirements they need to meet, and how can you make this easier for us? How can you delineate what is our responsibility and what is yours for these different certifications? So we've built some tools for that, and we're working more and more, I'll talk about that, and so will Ash, about how to make that clearer to the users and how you can consume that in your Azure portal. And then we pull all this together as a partnership. We try to partner with our customers on this journey to compliance together to help you do that. So as I said, we have the deepest and broadest coverage in the compliance industry. We used to have a slide that had all of these logos, but we now have 85 different compliance offerings, and they don't fit on a single slide anymore, although they're really, really tiny. So we list them out like this. We have continued to add more and more of these in response to our customer needs. So when we say compliance offerings, we use that term broadly. We used to say certifications, and a certification is where outside third party, like British Standards Institute or somebody like that, has come in and certified that yes, you meet, and done an audit that you meet this standard. So some of those are certifications, some of those are attestations where we have issued an attestation that we comply with this. And some of these, it's more guidance for them. But these are the different standards that Azure adheres to. And we divide them up in different categories. As you can see, we have the global ones that are kind of across the top with the ISO standards, we've got a bunch of those, and Cloud Security Alliance, CIS benchmark. US government, we're very deep on that. We have FedRAMP High, Department of Defense, other standards. And then the bottom two, we're really deep on the industry standards and the regional. And there's some bleed over there. Many of those industry standards could also be called regional too. Especially on verticals like healthcare, we have quite a few, and finance, we have a number of finance certifications, media, other ones as well. We also look at the regional ones. So you can see there we have about 20 different countries where we have standards: Switzerland, New Zealand, Argentina, Japan, all kinds of standards. We really try to meet our customers where they live. And we really benefit from the fact Microsoft has been involved in policy making and standard setting for a long time. So we have these long-term relationships. So we work with our regional government relations and other offices to see the stuff coming so that we can meet our customers where they need to be. So a little bit of background about the GDPR. So how many of you are dealing with the GDPR now? Oh, okay, so most of you have some familiarity with it already. So I won't get too deep on this and spend too much time on that since there's a lot of familiar, but I will go over the basics again. The GDPR is, for those of you who don't know, is a law of the European Union and applies to companies that offer goods and services to people in the EU or that collect and analyze data tied to EU residents, no matter where they are located. So if you have customers in the European Union, it applies to you. The key takeaways are that it has enhanced privacy rights, increased duty for protecting data. There's some security requirements in there. They're very generally stated, but they are there and strongly stated. There's mandatory breach requirements. So if you're in the US, that's already pretty familiar with you because I think it's like 47, 48 US states already have data breach reporting requirements. And then there are the significant penalties for non-compliance. It can be up to 4% of your annual revenue in the worst case scenario. So I was going to check last night. I haven't seen any actual penalties enforced yet. I know that they have some investigations going, but I think folks are kind of waiting to see what is the EU actually going to enforce and how big are the fines they're actually going to levy. What does this mean for your organization? Well, the big takeaway is on the left-hand side, data subject rights. So the GDPR has enforceable data subject rights. You have the right to ask for a copy of your data. You have the right to ask that your data be deleted, the famous right to be forgotten. And that it could be in an exportable, machine-readable format, such as something like a PST file for Outlook or things of that sort. So it has the right to data portability. So that requires many companies, and it has required Microsoft, to make some fairly significant changes. Ash is going to tell you about all that. There are also controls and notifications that are required. Their requirement, as I said, for security. It says appropriate security measures. It doesn't specify any particular technologies, and that's because past experience laws that have specified you must use this specific technology. Technology changes, the law becomes out of date. But it does strongly imply some. It mentions encryption in several places. So that's a really good idea. There are notification requirements, as I said, requirements to obtain consent, to keep detailed records for processing, outline processing purposes. You have to define what you're going to do with the data and document. And there's such a thing as a data protection impact assessment, a DPIA, that you might be required to do. And they have some formats about what to do that. But it's basically a risk assessment. And that's required for things like high-risk processing, for if you're doing things like managing health records or surveillance data, surveillance cameras or things like that. You could be required to do a DPIA. And then, of course, IT and training. There are all kinds of training that would be required to re-engineer your institutions, including, in some cases, employing a data protection officer. And they have some guidelines for when to do that. So one question I get is, what if GDPR doesn't apply to me? So last year we had people come up and say, what's GDPR? I've still had a few people come up and say, what's GDPR? Is that a product? And these are typically customers that they're maybe a local American college or something, or they're a local hospital, and they just don't deal with customers that are overseas. Well, the GDPR is something, if it's not affecting you now, you really should pay attention to it and start thinking about how you might want to make changes in the future. Because we're seeing not just Europe, we're seeing other countries, Japan, Canada, Argentina, others, are looking at GDPR-like legislation. So I haven't checked on this lately, so I don't know how far along if they've enacted this legislation or not. But last I checked, I know they are looking at. I know I did look at the California Consumer Privacy Act last night, and that was passed, and I believe it was just amended recently. But the California Consumer Privacy Act is not the GDPR, but it does have some similarities. It requires that companies tell customers the data that they collect about them, and the right to say no to their information, and the right to delete data that they've given to them, and other rights. So some similar kind of data subject rights in the state of California. That goes into effect in 2020, so California's pretty big. That's going to have an impact on many of us, and you may see other states too. Additionally, companies such as Microsoft are implementing data subject rights standards across the entire globe. And that's something that we announced shortly after GDPR, that we were going to give all our customers these rights. So you see more companies do that because companies really like the idea of like having one broad standard. It's a lot easier for us to comply with than a whole bunch of different standards. Our commitment to you, what we've done since we started with GDPR compliance, we committed to being compliant by the deadline. We were compliant for all our cloud services. We share our experience in complying with regulations such as the GDPR. We have a number of good resources. We have Microsoft Trust Center, a lot of white papers, a lot of backgrounders. And then Ash is going to share with you best practices about how we get compliant in the things we do. And as I said, this is a partnership with our customers to share, to make things easier and to share resources and to share tools with you. How do you get GDPR compliant? It's a complicated process because there are 99 articles to the GDPR. Some of them are technical, some of them are not. Many of them are sort of policy related, and some of them we do and some of them you do. So the great thing about the cloud is you can see this diagram. We use this diagram a lot. We use it for security. We use it for different things to share with our customers the shared responsibility nature of the cloud. So you can see in this slide that the dark is the on-prem. If you're just on-prem, it's all dark. As you go to IaaS, a little bit lighter, PaaS lighter, and then SaaS, quite a bit of that, the light colored, is the stuff that we take on. So making that clear. So the great benefit of the cloud is that we take on a lot of it, but there's still responsibility that you have. So we've put a lot of effort into mapping this out, and I'll show you some of this later. Ash is going to show you Compliance Manager, which helps you map some of this out. We have other resources for this too, including blueprints. So we announced on Monday that Azure Blueprints. So we have Azure Blueprints and Azure Security and Compliance Blueprints. The Azure Blueprints are things that are consumed in the portal that have templates, that have settings. Those are, right now, we do not have those for compliance settings. We have a set of blueprints, and the link is there, and then in the back, and then at the end I'll show you too. We have a set of blueprints, but they are guidance, they're control implementation matrices, reference architectures, responsibility matrix. It breaks out the individual the shared responsibility article by article in the matrix for that. We are working to templatize those to the extent that we can. And make those things that you can consume in the Azure portal. But right now, they're standalone as is documentation, but it's really valuable guidance too. When we look to templatize these things, when we go through standards, these things like ISO and HIPAA, and look at them line by line, what the standard actually requires, it's a small part of it that we can actually automate. I think it's probably 20, 30% of the controls that are required are things that we can automate in the portal. The rest of them, things like you must regularly review your policy, you must have a policy for this, are things that we could put a timer on there or something that says, check, you need to do this, but we can't really automate. So that shared responsibility part, that part with the tools to make it easier, and then the guidance that we provide to help you do what you need to do is the approach we're going to be taking. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to Ash. He's going to show you some of the things about how we actually do some of these things, some of the steps that we went through to do it, and then give a demo. And then at the end, we're going to have time for questions. Okay?
Hey, guys. So my intent is twofold with my presentation over here. First off, give you a very in-depth view of what Microsoft did for getting GDPR ready, and hopefully what that will translate into is basically a template or a framework that you can use and some sort of best practices that you can go and apply for your organization if you are actually embarking on your GDPR journey. So with that in mind, and thanks to David, he gave a good in-depth view of what GDPR is and what needs to happen over here. And how did we go about achieving it? Actually, it's a simple two-principle based approach. Privacy is nothing new over here. So Azure, since its inception over a decade ago, we've always had privacy as a primary responsibility for all of our customers. So we had a process in place. We had several certifications for privacy, as well as we have good guidelines within our organization on how we actually handle and manage privacy for our services. What GDPR did was sort of harden our approach to privacy. Not only were we thinking about privacy as a process, then it actually enforced us to actually think and embed privacy as an engineering function. And along with all the data access and restrictions that it actually applied on the data, security also came into the forefront. So it helped us actually kind of force and improve in these two areas. And start building holistically a much better way to actually manage our privacy and our data. What does this technically mean from an engineering perspective? First off, obviously, we had to redefine everything from policy to all our engineering practices. We had to build tooling. And that basically meant that our policies had to actually enforce a lot more transparency, provide a lot more transparency in what data we had and what view we could provide our customers into that data. Second thing, we had to actually enforce a lot more stricter control on how we actually manage this data, or where we stored it, what kind of people had access to it, what was the purpose of this data that we collected. And when all of this was actually well defined, we had to go in and actually build engineering tooling around it so that we can manage this better. And GDPR is all about data, right? I mean, if you ever did what I did over the past 18 months, you will have a lot of holy crap moments, because you had to go understand a boatload of data across the organization, understand how it's being used, and rationalize its usage, understand who is actually touching it. It's not like one person collects it and then they decide, okay, I'm the only one using it. People across the organization, kind of the data flows through and people leverage it for different purposes. And when you have such a big company and just a big set of like all of these data assets that you're actually using to run your business, now all of a sudden you have to actually understand how people are using it, what kind of security actors do you want to apply on it, how do you control the flow, how do you make sure that the intent of the use of data actually adheres to what it was actually meant for when it was collected. All of these things actually kind of drive how you apply GDPR and how you build your tools for GDPR. Like I mentioned, this is the approach that Microsoft took when it came to actually getting GDPR ready. We sort of started off with basically understanding the scope. We looked at the data and rationalized its use, basically making sure that what was the purpose it was collected for, what is the intent that is actually being used for, who's using it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. With that, basically helped us define what our data policy is going to look like. Once you have a policy in place, then you can actually pretty much very easily convert that into some sort of an engineering tool set, and then you can actually manage this much better across your organization. With that in mind, obviously, every organization has a lot of debt over years you collect. Pretty much every developer is very conservative when it comes to collecting data and storing it. I'll collect it now, I'll use it later, sort of a mentality. With that in mind, you actually have a lot of debt. You inherit a lot of debt. What GDPR did for us is it forced us to rethink what's needed and what's not. That actually helped us define the scope. If you don't need it, don't collect it. If you have old data sitting there which you've not touched in a while, start cleaning it up. That kind of reduces the surface area of your liability for all of your GDPR purposes or whatever the regulation actually states. And the very good side effect of actually such a cleanup, it's a huge cost savings. Storing data, managing data actually is very costly. Now, when you start cleaning up unwanted data, you free up your resources, you save on your COGS and all that stuff. So Once you have actually reduced the scope and the surface area, then you start actually defining policies on retention. There is always a standard corporate retention policy that you have across your organization. There will be X number of years, X number of months, whatever it is. What GDPR again forced us to do from a Microsoft view is get more granular on these retention policies. So we ended up actually looking at the data and why it was used and the intent, and then we started setting retention policies much more granularly depending on the type of data that we had. Once you set your retention policies, then you end up actually even reducing the scope further for what you have to actually, what data sets do you have to enable all your DSR rights, or the right to be forgotten, or right to export or view. So that is the framework that we chose on how we actually handled and managed data. One key thing to note over here, even based on my experience and my journey for GDPR, variants or exceptions also are a key. So having a well-defined policy based on your organization's needs to make sure that if there is a certain data set that you want to actually have an exception on, have it very well defined in policy. That's what Microsoft went about doing it. So we knew, so if there is an audit, which was actually required for legal purposes or actually managing a business, we actually had an exception process in place on how we manage and govern that data. Similarly, there is legal hold. That's a very critical thing in business, and you will have to actually have a very well-defined policy on that as well. These are some of the few examples. We have a bunch of those, so we can actually, if you need more insight, we'll be here after 9:45. We can actually, I can give you more in-depth view on those things. Once we have our data framework actually placed, that basically formed the input for all the tooling that we built for GDPR. The first and foremost thing, obviously, was basically we built a comprehensive centralized tool set to catalog all our data assets in one location. So we exactly knew what's collecting, what's coming into the system, where it's actually coming in from, what kind of policies can we apply on those data sets. And also we built a lot smarter tools like data profilers, lineage maps, and all that stuff, so that we could track the flow of data across the organization. So one person collecting the data would be using it for analytics in another org. We knew who was doing what. And that helped us actually, if there were any restrictions that needed to be applied on this data set, we could actually go do that. And that's what the first block on the top, which talks about inventory and data policies, is all about. The second thing that we actually implemented it once we had a comprehensive catalog was how do we go about enforcing the policy. So data basically means two things: who's collecting it and where it's stored. So either you're applying the policy at the ingestion point or at the storage point at rest. So those were the two places where we actually built a very good correlation between our catalog system as well as our data stores and the ingestion points, so that we either restrict collecting a certain kind of data at the entry point itself, or we start enforcing some sort of a retention or anything like that at the store level. So we could do both, and that is how we actually started enforcing, from an engineering point of view, all the policies that we built as part of our data management framework. And GDPR, I don't know how many guys have been visiting the websites these days, and you start getting these pop-ups saying like, this is my policy, please accept this before you continue browsing on my website. Consent became a very key thing. So if the user doesn't consent, you don't get to collect any data, you don't get to store cookies on their devices, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. With that, that kind of actually pushed us to look at all our collateral and start implementing some of these things. And that was the next engineering effort that we took over. We basically embarked on and had all our web collateral, which is customer facing. We ended up having to build consent into all of those. One of the key things which is not very visible to a customer is actually breach. Breach is a very serious thing. If there is a data breach, we have certain set of obligations to our customers. There is a notification mechanism. There is a mitigation mechanism. So we have a very well-defined breach policy or protocol within our org. So that if there is an incident, untoward incident, where we actually have a data breach of some sort, we actually go in and proactively notify our customer. We take mitigation steps, and we provide clear steps to the customer saying, okay, this is what happened, this is how we mitigated it, and this was the loss that you incurred, and we engage with the customers on that one. And last but not the least, like David mentioned, everything about GDPR is providing the customer with the visibility about what data we have about them and providing them with the capability to forget if they really request for it. So we built the DSR handling capabilities within Azure Portal so that customers can go in and request for their data or delete their data. One thing that is again not visible is actually auditing and reporting. This is kind of our backbone when it comes to actually GDPR and all the auditors who come knocking on our door going, okay, what do you have? And can you prove to me that you actually said that you're GDPR ready? What does it mean by being GDPR ready? Can you show me all the evidence? We have a very comprehensive reporting structure or reporting tool set built in so that when the auditor comes in, we basically take all the evidence that we have and then we present it to them. That helps them kind of have the confidence to say, okay, we are GDPR ready. The one thing or the extra step that we did when it came to audits and reporting and everything is we have a tool set called Compliance Manager, which I will actually demo at the end of this presentation, is we have exposed all of our audits and everything for our services for Azure within Compliance Manager. What this does is this allows you to actually have a very self-serve way of actually auditing your own services. It is a pretty handy tool for you to kind of do a pre-audit of all the services, and then if you're working with your auditors, it will help you kind of present all the evidence that you have, and it's sort of Microsoft giving you all the data up front. What does all of this translate for your organization? What you can do is, I would say, from a best practices perspective or a framework perspective, I think you can actually take what Microsoft approach is, and it's a template that you can apply with your organization and implement your own GDPR readiness for your org. Define your scope. Make sure that you understand what are all the services that you own. What data does it collect? Make sure that you have very locked access to those services. Second thing is make sure you have all your data cataloged in a central location. That will actually help a lot. If you have everything managed centrally, that the overhead that it actually reduces for you in terms of actually managing the data is tremendous. There is a lot of cost benefit towards it. With that in mind, the next step, obviously, once you build this whole framework or whole engineering tool set, there needs to be a comprehensive test mechanism to make sure that it will give you the confidence that you are actually GDPR ready. When the auditors come asking you for evidence, your test framework will allow you to actually present that you have actually met the bar for the regulation, whether it's meeting the letter of the law or the spirit of the law. It actually helps. And lastly, reporting, I can't emphasize this more, have very good reporting built in. That way, it becomes a lot more easier in keeping track day over day, month over month, year over year about your GDPR readiness, as well as maintaining the readiness without a whole lot of overhead. Those are the three key things. So from a customer perspective, what's visible to you? We started off with saying DSR capabilities is the most important thing in GDPR. What we did, just to precede this, we actually released a couple of weeks ago a Microsoft Mechanics video, a 15-minute video providing you with in-depth detail on how Microsoft went about getting GDPR ready. So what videos you're going to see is actually a snippet of those. I do have a link for the whole video which tells you how to actually manage your privacy, your GDPR readiness within Azure, as well as a bunch of tools that are available for you to govern policy within Azure. That is a very good knowledge base that you can actually leverage over here, which I will have the link at the end. To start off with, everything is integrated within the management Azure portal. There is a policy blade in there where you can go in and you can say, I want to either forget the user, or you want to actually export the user, the data of the user, sorry. And what it means is, from an Azure perspective, you have to be an admin on that subscription to actually make such requests. And once you get into the privacy blade, you can actually go in and say, give me my data. Export, I want to create an export request. Here's the user information. And once you actually do that, it usually, depending on the amount of data that we have about that user, it'll take probably somewhere between 1 to 30 days to get you the data back.
How would you respond to GDPR requests as they start to come in?
We have built-in tools to help you with that. For example, here, our Service Trust portal also allows you to submit, export, and delete requests to meet GDPR obligations. You can click Privacy tab here, select Data Subject Request, scroll down, and here you will see links for data log export and forget user data. For here, I will start first with the data log export. This will take you to the Azure portal, where you can create a request to export a user's telemetry log data. For example, here I'm going to add an export request for the user Alex. So I select the username, I select my subscription, and I select the storage account I want this to be. And then I click create. The export request is being created. Note that you will have to be logged in as a tenant admin to submit this request.
OK, so this is going to store all the logs on this particular user into the storage account that you just selected. But how long is this going to take to complete?
It depends. This can take a few days to run, depending upon the amount of data and the service the user has used. So in this case, I've run one of these in advance, and you can see the output of my request here. You can see a folder structure here. And when we look within the exported folders, you'll see that the data is in a machine-readable format. Most of it is in JSON.
Right, so we've satisfied the requests for the user to know what information is held on them in the activity logs. And obviously, this is going to help us find system-level data about that individual. And you'd combine that with Office 365 DSR, for example, to discover content related to that individual as well. And we've covered that on mechanics previously. But what about if the user wants the account to be removed from the system completely?
You can then submit a delete user request. Let me show you how that works. So you go back to the user privacy experience page in the Azure portal. Click go to Azure AD to delete. Then I type in the username I want to select to delete. I select the user and then submit delete user. Now this puts the user in the queue for delete, so allows you a grace period in case you want to recover back. To permanently delete, go to the deleted users and then select the user you want to delete. So this also deletes the user's affinity with the activity logs I just showed.
Great, so those controls are baked into the service, as well as controls that we give users to ensure greater privacy.
Cool. So just gives you a view of how we actually implemented the delete and the export functionality. Two key things to note over here. We talked about Service Trust Portal at the beginning of the video. That is pretty much the entry point for all of our documentation for GDPR. You can use that as the key to understanding what our GDPR documentation, what our process is. It has links to all the audit reports that we have. It has links to a compliance manager that you can log into to check all of our services that are ready for GDPR as well. Now, all of this is the engineering capabilities to say, okay, this is how you can export and get your data back, or this is how you can actually delete your data. Now, the next step for this one is obviously what does it mean from a compliance standpoint? Pretty much most of the controls for GDPR are actually in ISO 27018. We actually have a bunch of GDPR-based controls in there, and we actually completed all of those controls and audits for those controls that were defined. This is actually available in Compliance Manager, and Compliance Manager, like I mentioned, is the tool for you to go and look at all of the records as well as the documentation for audits. Kind of helps you kind of do a pre-audit of all the services before you go with your external audit. And how do you leverage Compliance Manager?
So here I'm in the Service Trust portal, and this is a central portal to discover resources and tools for your privacy and compliance needs. From here, I can get to Compliance Manager. Compliance Manager is a powerful way to track and manage your privacy and compliance based on a risk assessment score. So I'll click into the Azure GDPR. As I scroll down, you can see here the assessment is based on two perspectives. First is the Microsoft Managed Controls, and these are the controls that Microsoft leverages as a service provider. We also provide you in-depth details on how Microsoft has implemented these controls and how third-party auditors have tested them. As I scroll down, you'll see the customer managed controls. These are the controls you are responsible for managing and maintaining the test information.
So like David mentioned, right, compliance and readiness is actually a shared responsibility. And that is one of the reasons why we have the Microsoft-based controls as well as customer-based controls in Compliance Manager. It kind of helps you as a one-stop shop for actually managing your entire compliance posture. That is the key thing over here. With that.
So, as promised, here's the resources slide. These are things that you can do now. As I said, most of them are on the handout there, or take a picture if you want. We have the GDPR blueprints you can look at, Compliance Manager, or the Microsoft GDPR website, which is part of the Trust Center, which has a lot of detailed information about compliance as well. And there's also the Azure GDPR docs site. There's a docs page for Azure Security and includes compliance and GDPR. And then also a link to the video that Ash showed as well. So with that, we will take questions. Please step to the mic if you have a question.
Hello. Yeah. So you guys said you've implemented this globally, right? Mm-hmm. So have you guys come across any scenarios in case where you have any conflicts with the policies that are locally implemented versus the GDPR part, and how does Microsoft handles that?
That comes up all the time, where there are conflicts within policies, and where it comes up most often is in specific verticals like finance, where there are legal requirements to hold records for periods of time, and somebody says, I want to exercise my right to be forgotten, but you have a legal hold on this. There's a section in the GDPR that addresses that and says in instances like that, I forget the language, that will be taken into consideration where there are legal holds and things of that sort. And our advice we always give to people is talk to your attorney about that. If there's a legal conflict, before you delete anything or do anything, talk to your attorney and get some advice on that.
My question is about the tool that you're using to consolidate user information. That seems like a natural tool to be used to gain that information by a hacker. Are there audits and alerts that are associated with that you can monitor when those reports are being accessed? Because that seems like if somebody gained elevated access into your Azure, that could be used against you as a way to get that privacy information as a breach.
Absolutely. So we do have very strict access controls, monitoring, watchdogs, as well as we constantly review what we call as a threat modeling review on these services. So we monitor all of this. And there is a protocol that we follow when it comes to actually using these services and how do we actually provide access to anybody within our organization itself. So.
Hi. Next question?
We have Active Directory on-prem and use this Azure Connect to DirSync, yes. And if you delete a user on-prem, is all the logs and that kind of things deleted in Azure by default, or do you have to make these steps, delete logs and delete user in Azure as well?
Good question.
Neither of us know.
Over there. I believe we do delete. Once the user goes away, we actually initiate a delete, irrespective of whether it's coming from DirSync or just direct. Now, we won't be actually deleting any data on-prem because you will have to do it. But if there is any data that is stored on Azure and the user is deleted from Azure Active Directory, we end up pushing the delete for those users.
Perfect. Thank you.
Here's my card. Send me an email afterwards, and we'll follow up and get an answer too.
Any other questions?
Got like 2 minutes left. Any more questions? Oh, one more. Okay.
Hey there, good morning. A question on the example you guys showed there was, it looked like if they were an employee, right? You look for that username or the use of that email address. What if it's customer data or all I have is a name or a file name, or what if somebody changes that file name? Are we just using the e-discovery tools, or is this tool implied to be used for that?
You want to take that? Or
That's for you.
Okay.
I
So,
think it's tied to Active Directory,
yeah.
right? Is where the
So
portal-
Azure and Office, two separate entry points for us. There is an Office entry point with the portal, and if you actually have data pertaining to a user in Office, like documents and everything, there's a cleanup process over there. And in this case, even within Azure, if we have data about that user and it's actually explicitly tied to that user, we purge everything, logs, files, and anything that is associated with that user. It just disappears within 30 days.
Okay, but again, that sounds like it's Azure related. If it's Office related, or I have somebody has a file in some SharePoint that I don't know about, or OneDrive that I don't know about, is it just I'm not using that tool? I'm using our e-discovery and purge.
Yes, I would use e-discovery for that, definitely. Yeah, because that has some really powerful capabilities to find information and sift through that too.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.